in an organization. More and more now, we see our US workforce becoming more knowledge-based and taking people who may not have been knowledge workers in the past and retraining them, teaching them how to be able to use information to make decisions in what they're doing within organizations. For those types of people, what they really have to have is some type of literacy for technology, because they're going to have to interface with technology to be able to harness it and get information out of it. They also need to be able to understand how to use it appropriately when they do have information. Anytime there's knowledge, then there is the source of power thing that we need to be thinking about, ethics. What do you do with some information that you ultimately come across that may impact other people? Do you know how to use it appropriately so you don't harm other people or your organization? And you'll see policies within organizations all about this. Lots of policies, and that's standard, and we have to always be looking at policies about ethics within organizations to make sure that our employees understand how to appropriately use the power that they will ultimately have when they come across information. And then the third resource is IT itself. To get a competitive advantage, you need to deploy a consistent platform, innovate better ways of working, and propagate that there's innovations throughout your company. So, when we look at this one, for example, we see that one of the things about IT is that it consists of hardware and software, right? Well, when you're within an organization, you're considering how to maximize the value of that technology, the hardware and software. One of the best ways to maximize value and get return on that investment is to standardize where you can. So you're not training across multiple platforms. You're not expecting different software systems or people to understand different operating systems or applications that do the same thing, and that you're not having redundancies. We see a lot of that actually within organizations, that there's systems that can do the same thing, but we shut one feature off and allow the other one to do it, and so actually paying for a capability that we don't need. Now, the flip side of that is maybe we can customize the software to make it fit exactly what we want. What's the downside to customizing? Cost. Anytime you take a system, especially large enterprise type systems like the HR systems or ERP systems or customer interfacing, customer relationship management systems. These large systems can cost upwards in millions of dollars depending on the size of the organization and the number of people interfacing with it. Customizing it then can be a very expensive and time-consuming endeavor, so we want to stay away from that where possible. But then we also want to balance that with making sure we're not duplicating our resources too many times. In terms of hardware also, we want to make sure that we are providing easy to use technology, but also technology that has power where we need it. Sometimes easy to use does not equal power or customizability. We have to balance that as well. So other parts of the hardware would be your input devices like microphone and keyboard. Output devices is what we see or hear, and of course storage devices. There's a variety of different storage devices that can be seen. Then here we have the CPU, the brains of the computer, and we have the telecommunication devices that let us share the information that we will ultimately derive from the system across organizations and to the people who need them, how they need them, in the format they need it. Then we have two types of software. First, we have our application software, which is the applications, the software that does something for us. Then we have the system software that lays underneath that powers those applications.